Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right.
And let's get back to more club racing and less of this money-grabbing book racing.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right.
Yeah. See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Lefty the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about
it. Here we go. $100 right here, $100 throw. Oh no! I like this.
Yes, indeed. Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 224 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keenan White, a.k.a. Lefty the Great. And joining me this week, this podcast is just a short one, but it's all about the INS, the JConcepts INS race that was held at San Diego RC Raceway there. The same weekend as Daun. I want to thank Matty G for coming on and being a part of that as well as Ragin and Aydin Horne. He won two-wheel drive, so I thought it'd be cool to have him on. So we do a quick recap of that race. Trying to get some of these, it's hard. It's so much racing going on. I want to talk about it all. So I've just decided to do it in short podcasts for you guys. We also have a recap of the Montpellier race with Robert Battier. So I hope you guys enjoy this new format. But before I go on any further, I just have to say thank you to all of the people that support the podcast. They are the NNRC squad around the world. Without you guys, I can't do this. Thank you. Continue to hit that sub, that notification button, leave a dislike or like button, hit that like or dislike button, sharing the podcast from YouTube. We need to really grow that YouTube. We really appreciate it. Also, leave a comment. Helps us get out there in the algorithm as well. Also, if you're listening to this on the audio platform, leave a comment. It helps us out a lot. Or leave a review. Also, thank you to the patrons of the NNRC. You guys got early release of this podcast and of the upcoming podcast. We greatly appreciate it. If you wish to be a member of the Patreon or the YouTube membership, links for that are in the written description. It really helps us out. You got a lot of Patreon perks. Also, remember, showing these companies some love shows the podcast some love, and I want to thank them for their continued support. They are InvisibleSpeed.net, High Tech RC, celebrating their 50th year of operation, Mayako, Sampadal USA, TNR Fuels, Techno RC, Beach RC, Clinic RC, Lugs Racing Tires, Ignite Design RC, RaceCraft USA, Call RC. You can save 10% on that with code NNRC, RCGP, House of RC. Shout out to Ronafalk Racing, JTP RC, and Robert Battle, who I'll see all these guys here very shortly at DNC. So I'm very happy to see that. Remember, everybody, we have some affiliate links, we have coupon codes, we have all of that stuff in the written description of this podcast. I know right now we got a thing going on with the Ignite Design RC. There's a link in the written description. You can save up to 10% on one of the best gas truck conversions in the world, or the only gas truck conversion in the world at the Ignite Design RC. If you're on the fence about getting one of these awesome conversions, go do it and you save yourself 10%, as well as we got one for RaceCraft, we got one for Lugs Racing Tires. I think you save up to 25% as well on that. So if we don't have an affiliate link or a coupon code, just leave in the notes that you heard about this on the No Name RC podcast. We greatly appreciate that. If you're a company looking for a cool place to and a new platform to advertise, hit me up. I wanted to say a big shout out. I'm going to leave a link for this. One of these racers, I've known him for quite a few years. He used to race JK Racing, but Tim Barth, he's fighting the battle of his life with cancer at this moment. They've started a GoFund for him to help with his medical bills. Every little bit helps, you guys. If you could give him something, stay strong, Tim Barth, and fight this with all your might, good friend, my good buddy. I think that's it. We're going to get right into this. So let's go right into this recap of the JConcepts INS race with Matty G and Ragin Aydin Horne. Joining me this week is everybody's favorite Mexican 10-scale racer, BAC, Born a Crime, Matty G. And joining us after his two-wheel drive win, not this weekend, but the weekend. He's having a weekend off this weekend. He had a weekend off this weekend, but the weekend prior to this, Ragin Aydin Horne, who's now CEO of AHRC.
That's right.
You know, we're going to pump up AHRC on this podcast, and we're going to get March sales through the roof for Aydin Horne RC. All right. Thank you, Aydin, for joining us. Thank you, Matty, for joining us. So we had the first, this is the first INS of the year?
Yeah.
I believe it was held at your home track, SDRC. Aydin, you made the trip. You've been hitting it hard this year as well. You did Hoosier. You've been racing locally. But this is probably your best result for a while, I think. Your best result since Masters. I think you got, what, third at Masters?
Well, I won trackside in between that and now, but yeah, I mean, I haven't really gotten a ton of wins, so this was a big one for sure. But yeah, no, I pretty much just been going mostly local stuff this year. I mean, I did Hoosier, but other than that, it's been all local. Some practicing. Oh, actually, I did the TNR race, but
right,
you wouldn't have known that I was there if I didn't tell you. So
you didn't do too well, but
didn't quite make the mains.
I saw you quite a lot near the end of the year. Obviously, we was at the Worlds together. We did 2 RCGPs together. Then we did Masters of Dirt. You was there. Then Florida Carpet Championships. It was a lot of fun. Always liked interviewing you. You looked a little bit calm this weekend. That's this weekend of this race. You wasn't quoting the baby and, you know, grabbing the mic from Matt Olson, who did a great job of coverage, by the way. Really great job. So you looked a little bit calm, but we'll get more into that about that. I really wanted to talk about the track first. So did you guys put in a fresh build for this race?
Yeah.
Is that required? So was it a complete knockdown and rebuild for it?
Yeah. So we added fresh dirt right after Nationals. So we've been trying to figure that out. It takes a little longer for it to groove up, and it stays pretty wet, as Aydin saw. But by Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it started to dry out, and there was a little more grip put down.
So who designed the track?
Sean Story.
I like it. We had some jumps that separated stock and mod. We had those 2 triples that you guys could do no problem in mod. And if you wanted to, you know, risk it, and you could do it in stock. Yeah. I saw Mason Templeton.
There was Mason and Ian Crawford were the only ones going for it.
All right. That's good, dude. I think we should have more jumps like that. I really like that section. I believe it's right under the driver's stand, the back section where we're going to talk about the infamous pass, the Groundhog Day pass over on Aydin her. So I thought that the track was really good. Being as you've probably seen so many layouts here, what was your thoughts on that? Matty G, we're going to go Matty G, then we'll go on to you. All right, Aydin, we'll save you for last. So we're going right over to Matty.
It was good. Sean usually likes to make it a little more challenging for these like bigger events. It was really tight, so it was kind of like our Nationals layout where everything was kind of just one line. It makes for super close like racing. As we saw, there's some unique passes that kind of go on, but yeah. The layout was pretty standard to what we normally have at SDRC.
And you, Ragin Aydin, I mean, your pops, if you Garth didn't go this year, right?
No, Big Cheese is he's getting out of it slowly, I think. I don't really know what his plan is, but he's not really doing a lot of radio. He hasn't even been to a track or picked up a radio at all this year.
I mean, it's only February like 13th.
He hasn't even he doesn't even know where his cars are at, honestly. I just asked him where his nitro buggy was, and he told me he doesn't know, and I can't find it either. So that's kind of how his program is going right now. I don't really know what his next race is, but or if he really even plans on. I think he's going to Worlds though. So
yeah. I remember at Hobby Action he said that was his plan to qualify for Worlds and go.
Yeah, Big Cheese is going to the Worlds. He qualified. He went to SDRC. He finished like 12th, I think, in both mod classes. So that's actually a good showing for him. And he's been kind of MIA since he got that job done. But
all right.
no.
So, but you made the trip with your pops. We was talking about this earlier. To learn Proline Warrior out there, battling against all the JConcepts guys, because it's just all JConcepts, right? It's Proline and Raw Speed, Proline, JConcepts, Raw Speed that are in the 10 scale game right now. But you had plenty of people. I mean, it's right there in SoCal, so lots of associated guys as well. Not the biggest turnout for this race. I was a little surprised. I wanted to ask you, Matty G, did you think that we're seeing maybe a slight decline in 10 scale in SoCal, and maybe the closing of OCRC was a reason for that? Is a reason for that?
I think with how many events we had at SDRC like last year with the Nationals and then INS and then our Top Gun race, I think it's, a bunch of people have already been there, so it's not like the hot shot destination at the moment. 10 scale definitely doesn't seem as popular in California like right now. It seems like with the dirt like opening up and Thunder Rally getting a good monthly club race like program going on, it seems like a lot of the OCRC guys kind of migrated to run 8 scale more than they do 10 scale.
It probably didn't help that there was other events the same weekend. Like there was 2 other events that were like within 2 hours of driving, because they had the Dirt Nitro warm up, and they also had their icebreaker at LSR.
Yeah,
right? Didn't they?
Yeah. So
what is LSR?
That's in Sacramento.
Oh, okay.
So
yes.
That's like, I'm not sure how long of a drive that is, but
right. I mean, that would
terrible. That was like terrible overlapping, if you ask me. Like,
but it's kind of hard nowadays. It's kind of difficult. It's so many races out there, and LSR is an indoor track, though, correct?
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys have a little easy because you can have it anytime. It's the outdoor tracks that have the problems with the weather. But I mean, that's not a California problem. That's a problem that you have in a lot of the regions that have a lot of tracks. Yeah. So it's a big problem, like in the Carolinas as well. So it rains and stuff like that. So I was just wondering, because like I said, I was expecting more people, but like you said, maybe people just, it seems like a lot of those guys that were doing a lot of 10 scale, like I know Smoker and then guys are going right to 8 scale.
Yeah.
And they never used to really run 8 scale, just go OCRC. So now they're all going to the dirt and whatnot. But right now, California's banging for 8 scale. Right now, Florida looks pretty good for 10 scale.
Yeah.
They got a lot of 10 scale going on. They have an outdoor 10 scale series going on as well too. I think their first race is coming up soon, the Emerge series or something. So yeah, I would think so. And I would say that like San Diego's maybe a little bit far for them OCRC guys. It's like an hour and a half.
Yeah, and then depending on traffic, it's pretty shitty going from OC to San Diego, like through traffic and stuff. So
right. But nonetheless, maybe not a big turnout, but it had the big guns there. Mod was stacked. I mean, we had the debut of Cavalieri on this Schumacher. We had the debut of Mayfield out with everybody was wondering what he's going to be running, and he's running associated like a satellite team apparently with JConcepts, which is kind of what I thought was going to happen. I know a lot of the techno people like, well, why is he running a techno? I don't think techno has any plans on really following up on 10 scale. Who else did we have? Obviously we had Aydin, we had Fend, Cole Tollard was there. Shit. Let me bring up some info. Tom. Oh, he was very impressive.
Indeed.
Very impressive, Tom from
He's
R1.
been been super fast, like the past probably year, I'd say.
Yeah. As soon as he switched over to those cars, it's kind of been more like, especially in 2L.
Yeah, his switch to X-ray kind of revived his results, I think.
I would say so too. He's done really, like you said, he's done really well. He seems to not be running stock as much and just focusing on modified now, which is good. And I like Tom, and he's I would say in 10 scale, X-Ray's second top driver, I would say at this moment.
Yeah. I would honestly argue he's possibly their best.
I think he's
in 10 scale.
Yeah,
he's beaten Ty like every time.
That's true too.
Like
This
every
is true.
event that we've gone through, yeah, he's beaten Ty at.
So we gotta have Doug from R1 because I can't say his last name properly. We're gonna have him on here to talk to him. All right.
Riviere?
No, not Doug. Sorry. Tom. I don't know why I get both of those guys confused.
If you ask them, they argue about their paint scheme. It's pretty good.
It does look very similar.
Yeah. I never thought that because I feel like Doug's stuff always just looks super hammered and Tom's stuff looks pretty fresh still.
Yeah. Well, Doug's got like the red bodies once in a while, and then he's got the paint stuff coming out.
I think it looked like he had all white this week. This
no,
race.
he had Tom had all white in 4-wheel and then painted in 2-wheel, I think.
Does he come to SDRC much?
Yeah. Before an event, he'll come down like the week prior or 2 weeks prior to come run. It's hard though because the track is a lot different than it would be for like a big event since there's more of a groove like laid down. Then we glued a couple spots before like INS because we're gonna try gluing our surface.
Oh, so you are gluing the surface there?
Yeah, it seems like we're going to be trying to mess with some stuff to try to glue it. I don't know when for sure we're going to fully glue it, but we're just kind of messing like with it like right now.
Is this something that you're seeing becoming more popular in the 10 scale game, Aydin?
Yeah, because Davey bought his track, they glued it. It seems like there's a lot of tracks in the East Coast that are glued. So it started to become more of a trend, I think.
I think it got really big in like 2021, and then it kind of died down a little bit, and then maybe it's kind of picking back up now. Yeah. I'm not really sure because, honestly, from my experience from the glue tracks, it's like really inconsistent, especially like throughout the day.
Yeah.
Like whenever I go race at Hoosier, it's like every run you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
So it's like that part is I feel like a downgrade. But
so why are tracks doing this? Just to
guarantee
make it easy?
Grip.
Okay.
Yeah, probably.
It's the ease of maintenance too. So you're not sitting there having to like fight the track, having to water too much, not water enough. You're just kind of gluing and going. Like with Hoosier, the first day of practice, it was super loose, and then they re-glued it the next day, and it had a shit ton of grip. And then I think the same thing was with like Mimi's, right? It was like super loose the first day of practice, and then the second day it had a little more. Aydin?
My mind just forgot about Mimi's, honestly. It's like that race never even happened.
Well, let's talk about this race because this race happened for you. You went on to do pretty well. You TQ'd 2-wheel drive. You got a 2 in round 2 and a 0 in round 3, which I thought was exceptional for you because I'm not gonna lie, I was shocked because I was expecting, like Fenn's been really good at all these races. So why did I think anything was gonna be any different this time around? But good job. You went up there, and what was your thought pattern going into 2-wheel drive and qualifying? When did you know that you could beat Fenn?
Well, I kind of always like go to an event with an open mind, just kind of tell myself anything can really happen. And then where it really starts is kind of practice. So the first day of practice, I was like almost 2 seconds lap off the pace. I was like so hurting. The track was like super wet and there wasn't really much grip. And the S3 compound really doesn't work on like the moist stuff. Like the track needs to kind of dry out and get that type of like groove into it for that compound to work very well. So I was out there like hurting. Dustin was I watched Dustin practice. He's like 19.3, 19.4. I went out there doing like 20.7s, bro. Like it was horrendous. I'm like, oh my God, dude. I went back to the pits. I like blew my car up because I don't even know what happened. I built a new car for that race, a new 2-wheel. And I went to like bind it to the radio, and my electronics like had a stroke, and my stuff glitched out, and it was all just like messed up. So luckily I had a separate car that I brought because I brought my old one. So I pulled all the electronics out of my old car, put it in my new car. I barely even got to really run on the first day of practice. And I went out there, I was hurting. It was like my program was such a joke. I went to the hotel that night expecting to like barely make the main, honestly. And then the next morning, the track was like so much better. And my car was actually really good. And I kind of looked at the lap times and I was like, oh, wow, I'm on pace. So that was kind of the moment where I was like, okay, we can compete this weekend. And Brent kind of texted me. He wasn't really feeling that good. And it's like, how's it going? I was like, the 2-wheel honestly feels like I can compete for the podium, if not the win this weekend. And the 4-wheel is close, but I knew the 2-wheel was really good. And then qualifying started and I led some laps in Q1 and ended up, I missed TQ by like half a second, but I was 4th for the round. And so I was like, dude, no way. Right? Like I'm like so close to a 0 and I'm 4th. Like a 4 is like that terrible point when you're trying to, TQ. And then the rounds 2 and 3 ended up going well. And luckily I was able to TQ with a 2. Like typically you have to have 0 points to start first at those races. So I kind of got a little bit lucky there, but I knew the car was really good. And yeah, ever since I kind of was battling for the 0s, I knew I had a good chance and I just needed to put in good runs. And then A1 and A2 was like, I was able to get like really clean runs together and that ended up being enough. But typically like whenever practice in Q1 goes pretty well, like honestly, Q1 is like the basis of the whole weekend for me. Most of the time, it's like if I'm not doing all right in Q1, then typically it's like I'm probably not going to be there. But if Q1 goes pretty well, then we can have something to work with. But yeah, that's typically probably when I know it's like, okay, we're here, we're ready to battle.
Well, we'll get more into your mains. I want to actually play them because we're going to show the pass and all that stuff. BAC, this is your home track, man.
Yeah. As I said before, it's always different during club racing. There's usually a little bit more of a groove laid down.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like at these bigger events, I have the home track like disadvantage. My cars usually feel really good during club racing and all that stuff. And then we come to these like bigger events and the track's a little less like grooved up. And
it's a home track disadvantage for sure. Like people say home track advantage, but no,
it's home track disadvantage for sure.
I've never even had a big race at a home track. And I know it's like, dude, the track is so much different for big races than it is every time you're there club racing or locally practicing. Or it's like everything you know about the race is probably completely thrown out the window.
Throw it away, pretty much. Like I went back this week and the track was normal. And I'm like, well, if it would have been like this, would have been a little easier.
Having a big race,
you still made the mains. You still made the mains, BIC. You still made the mains, but I guess so. Is it that you just can't adapt to the groove, or how does it just because you just don't
I felt the most comfortable in A3.
Okay.
When there was, I had to run. I usually run pretty new tires during club racing. Like I'm usually like one running tires during club racing because of how abrasive it gets. It was not super abrasive like last weekend. I ran some clapped out tires in order to get it to feel somewhat normal. And then by A3, I felt like I could put some stiffer tires on. But by then,
I ran the same set all week.
Yeah.
Like I mounted one set of tires for both my cars and ran them every single time I hit the track the entire weekend long.
Yeah. So we were on some like 17 run skins for sure.
Almost 20, probably.
Yeah. But I mean, it obviously worked for you, Aydin. Like I said, you started on TQ. We had the first A1, which was exciting. We thought she was going to lead from, like, Dakota was pressuring you from behind. It was a good race all the way. But then he made that jump. I'm trying to get it up her. I was going to play it, but it's just, you guys, internet's not going to allow it. It's not too great. But let's show this jump that actually, I got this picture from you, Matty. So I was a part of this track where you could jump over, and he made the pass. I mean, it was a great pass. Don't get me wrong. I thought it was super ballsy. He made it stick. But in the end, it kind of did go off to the it did cut the track. Where is the picture? Damn it. I had it. Now I'm trying to find it again. So tell us a little bit about that. Your thoughts on that, Aydin, when that pass happened.
It was a sweet pass. I mean, and to be honest with you, I would have done the exact same thing if I was in Dakota's shoes. So I don't blame him at all. And the fact that he actually stuck it is pretty rad. To be honest, I kind of gave him room to land because I'm watching his car fly through the air, and I realized that if I don't move, he's gonna land on me 100%. So I backed off a little and gave him room to land, and I thought for sure that he was gonna land and chassis slap, spin out, flip. I mean, I'm thinking to myself, there's no possible way that his car just lands plush and drives ahead of mine. No way. He's going to spin out, flip, something. So I gave him room to do that. And then he just lands plush and drives in front of me. There's no way. So I couldn't believe it. And then I was like, well, he probably cut the track. So I'm just going to not do anything dumb. I'm going to get to the line, and then maybe they'll give me the win anyways, because I don't know if anyone knows, but the year before at this exact same event, my brother was battling with Matty G for the bump up spot in 4-wheel, the B main, and my brother pretty much put an identical move on him, and they took the spot from my brother because he cut the track over the pipe when he was jumping. So I was kind of remembering that. I was like, same track, same event. I mean, surely the same rules apply. So I was kind of expecting to get the win anyways.
Yeah.
But that didn't end up working out.
No.
But either way, pretty sweet pass. I mean, he couldn't have really executed that any better, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can see here from this picture. I mean, this does look photoshopped, but you can clearly see his shadow there. Right there.
It's like Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a ballsy pass. But he did cut the track. He did cut the track. But I guess you had to do it. You had to do it. That ended up giving him the win. But you got it done. You got it done. You went on to win A2. Let me bring up the results here. You went on to win A2 and A3. I was watching them earlier. You kind of had no one to really. I mean, you kind of walked away with him, I think.
In A2, So they ended up telling me that they weren't going to give me the A1 win right before A2 started. So I was kind of fuming walking up on the driver's stand. I kind of had the mentality of I felt like I deserved to win, and I wanted to kind of prove it. And then, so A2 went well. I kind of drove with a bit of a chip on my shoulder because I was still pretty upset about A1 being, thinking that they were going to give me the win and then having them not, and then tell me right before I walk on the stand for A2.
Yeah.
It was pretty fuel to the fire, I'd say. And then A3, I actually me and Dakota actually both blew out. So we counted our first 2 round scores.
Sorry, I just watched this. I'm trying to figure it out. Who won that? Who ended up winning that? Let's bring that up.
Spencer
actually
did.
Right, because Mayfield was leading at one point, right? Or chasing him down, and he messed up. He made some mistakes.
So basically what happened was me and Dakota kind of pulled a little bit. Mayfield was close, but not super close. And then Rivkin was actually a ways back in 4th. And then Dakota passed me. And then that allowed Mayfield to kind of get up to us. So it was kind of a 3-way battle for the lead. And then I kind of had the mindset, well, based off of Dakota's stats, if I give him, even 5 feet, then the race is probably over. So I was just trying to dog him as hard as I could to make him anything, right? If I give this guy any gap, the race is over. That's pretty much was my mindset. So I was just being as aggressive as I possibly could with him, knowing that the race was on the line. And I got to the inside of him before the triple on the left. We jumped the triple kind of side by side, and then he messed up a little on the inside. So I actually kind of thought that there was a small chance I could get around him on the outside and then beat him to the next inside before that little double. And then I ended up like going for it when it probably wasn't there. And then I clipped the curb and then flipped. But as I was flipping from the curb, I like flipped over top of Dakota's car. So Dakota couldn't make the double. So he cased that, and then Mayfield was there, and I think he landed on Dakota, and then it was just like a whole cluster, and that allowed Rivkin to catch up. And I think Dakota actually got away with that in the lead, but just barely. And then it was like hectic, and I'm sure his adrenaline was probably a little high from what just happened. And then like a couple corners later, he ended up crashing out of the lead on the double that he passed me on an A1. And then I think he maybe collected Mayfield, and then that's probably what gave Rivkin the lead, I think, possibly. So, yeah, Rivkin was kind of just like there to capitalize on all the mayhem. And then I knew that, I mean, by the time I was marshaled, I was pretty far back there. And I was just kind of watching Dakota, hoping he would crash. And when he did, I got excited.
I mean, that's all you can do at that point.
Yeah.
Is hope for him to mess up. But it allowed you to get your 1 and your 2. That counted. Great win for you. Mayfield actually got second in that race. Davey Bada got third, Fenn fourth, and you, Matty G, you got fifth.
Yeah, I there was a positive impact from the pile up because there was that. I remember passing Aydin, and then like I saw like Dakota go over the triple. I'm like, oh, like I'm kind of like in this. Like, that's not too far away. And then Tom and Dustin were battling in front of me. And then Tom shorted the double coming on to the straightaway. And then it collected like 3 cars. So I got up to like, I think 6. And then I saw Aydin just kind of running through the infield. And I'm like, oh, there's another spot.
Yeah, I was just after the first crash, I was just like blowing out, like completely just like so hurting out there. I was like through the infield and rolling off the track. It was nice. It was nice.
He says it was nice.
I was just pretty much just watching Dakota, and then once he crashed, I was like,
yeah.
So, what did you guys think of? What we're gonna stay on 2-wheel drive. What did you think of? All right, first I want to ask about. I know a lot of people want to know about Cavalieri with the Schumacher because while Cavalieri is at this race, Brock's over in Germany dominating guys. Mind you, it's on carpet, dominating guys in 2-wheel drive. How did Cav look on that Schumacher on dirt? Because I mean, the world is on dirt, so we got to talk about this. Give me your thoughts, Matty G. You've seen him more than Aydin.
The week before, it wasn't looking too hot. This week for INS, it looked a lot. He looked a little more comfortable than he was. He was a little more up to pace by race time. He had a couple of he had a 6 for a round, and then I'm not sure if he had anything higher than that. But his stuff looked better than it did the couple of weeks before he came and practiced, for sure.
And Mayfield looking good right away with his associated cars. That's kind of what I expected. I don't expect anything else from him.
With Mayfield having, he's buddies with Spencer, and then, he's got a good amount of knowledge and, knowing what to do. So with Cavalieri only having him and Brock really running those cars on dirt, it's a little harder to go, just from one guy to another, especially with them running like different tires too.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Aydin? What's your thoughts on those two guys?
Mayfield, I thought, did good. Like he's going to be super competitive this year, I think, with our stuff. I mean, for him to just build the kits, and I don't really think he ran the 4-wheel at all.
No.
And the two wheel, I think he maybe had a couple runs on. For him to just build the kits and show up and compete for podiums at an event like that highly contested of a race, that's a sign for the rest of the year that he is going to be fast, I think. Mm-hmm. Cavalieri, I mean, you can't argue with the guy's stats. He's one of the best to ever do it. something was wrong. I mean, 100%. He did not look like himself out there. We know he's an incredible driver.
Yeah.
Something was not working right with the new program. I mean, hard to really pinpoint what it was, especially for me, because I was like obviously focusing on myself. But typically, he is battling for podiums and wins, and I mean, he did not look like himself out there when I watched. So, I mean, I don't doubt him at all. Like I think he'll figure it out if you give him some time. But for this event, I think it was definitely a slow start for him.
Yeah, because he was really good in 10 scale at TLR.
Yeah,
in the 2 years
he's one of the
there.
best drivers to ever do it. So
yes,
I mean, when you look at the lap times, it's like it's not even like he was like had pace really at all. Honestly, his lap times were like considerably slower than what they normally are for him and his ability. So but he's got a lot of knowledge. He's got a lot of experience. So I don't doubt for 1 second he'll figure it out. Give him a couple of weeks or months or however much time he needs. I think he'll be there when it matters. Like come World's time, he'll be dialed, I bet. So I'm not really worried for him. I'm just observing how it went right away. And honestly, to switch to new cars is a huge thing in its own. And to add a new tire program on top of that, it's almost insurmountable at the first event you go to, if you ask me. So yeah, I mean,
what about the
really
cars though? I mean, the Schumacher cars are predominantly carpet cars.
Yeah. Brock has done really great with them. So
yeah, like he came out of the gate swinging pretty much when he ran the Schumacher stuff. So,
but I mean on dirt.
It took him a little while on dirt.
Okay, like
he had a couple of races where he didn't make the main at Mimi's. He missed a couple of mains for INSs at Hobby Action. So Brock wasn't dialed with them right away either, but he figured them out eventually. Yeah. So I think probably a similar path for Cav here. Well, I mean, obviously time will tell, but yeah, those I think Cav needs to work with Brock a little bit more. Kind of just bounce ideas back and forth off each other. I bet you if Brock would have been there at INS, then I think Cav would have ended up doing a lot better. Yeah. But I also heard something about Brock has some parts that Cav didn't have yet. So maybe that wasn't quite helping the cause. Yeah. I don't really know the ins and outs of it. I'm just kind of telling you the general consensus of what I got.
That's fine.
I think they'll be fine. He just needs to kind of talk with Brock a little bit and figure it out.
Because he went to Utah the week before the event to go practice like with Brock. And I guess that went well and they figured some stuff out. And then he came back for INS. And it was definitely going a lot smoother than it was the practice day before INS.
I see he's busy he was busy this past weekend doing a lot of racing and testing with WRC. So he's definitely getting on it. All right, next up was four-wheel drive. And let's go to this. Fend with TQ. Is this four-wheel drive overall results? I think Fend would TQ that. And he would take it in. He would take a 0 in round 1. He had a 4 in round 2 and a 3. I mean, in round 3, he had a 0. With your teammate Spencer Rifkin, he got a 2. He got like 3 2s, dude. He got 3 2s and you got 3 3s. I would say that's consistent.
Yeah, I mean, if you add up the difference between me and Rifkin for all 3 rounds of qualifying, I think it adds up to less than a second.
Really?
Because he beat me by like less than a 10th in one of the rounds. He beat me by a 10th in one of the rounds.
Well, we lost Aydin.
It was like getting spotted there for a second, and then
that's that janky Michigan internet.
There we go.
Well, I actually got a FaceTime call from Tater Sontag. So
funny. We're not even going to edit this out. So four-wheel drive. Let's talk four-wheel drive. You said less than a second between you and Rivkin. We had Mayfield in fourth, and we was talking about earlier, Tom Rinderknecht, Tom from R1 in fifth. So looking good there. It's hard to beat Fenn in 4-wheel drive.
It's hard to really beat him in period.
Period, but like in 4-wheel drive, it's really hard.
I was marshaling his seating run in 4-wheel, and I was like, that's gonna be tough to beat. Like he was ripping. So yeah.
I mean, he did it. What he just went out, did what he's done over and over again. Went out and did it in the first 2 A main, sat out the next A. Rivkin had a fourth. You had a second in the first A main though with Aydin, so not bad for you there. When you got that second, did you think you could compete with him in A2?
Honestly, yeah, Dakota only beat me by like a second and a half in A1. I was there. He just never made any mistakes, and it's also harder when you start third. You know, it's not like you have instant access to him. So you kind of just got to take what the race gives you. If you want to even have a chance at Dakota, you got to at least qualify second, I think. So, yeah, man, me and Spencer did everything we could. He was just he's on it, man. You got to respect what the guy's been doing lately, for sure.
Yeah, and Spencer's been pretty good. I mean, he had the Masters win, and he got second, right, at 4-wheel drive. Yes. So, yeah, I mean, I think AE will split that. You take the win in 2-wheel drive. He gets second, and you get a third. That's pretty good for AE at the end, I would say. But did Fenn get the overall, or was it you?
There is no overall.
They don't do that there, so it's not like what we gotta. No, come on, man, we gotta keep doing that.
If there was an overall, then Dakota would have got it because he got second in the other class. I got
right. So there we go. So we don't do. I thought, okay. See, I'm still learning this new 10 scale stuff, so bear with me. I'm a 10 scale newbie. Born a crime. 4-wheel drive is your class.
I know.
I know.
Yeah. Everything I ran for Hoosier, I tested out at SDRC. And again, the track was different than what I practiced on. So home track disadvantage for sure on my part. I didn't really drive all that great during qualifying. I had a lot of small bobbles that kind of kept me away from having clean runs. So yeah, I settled in the 9 spot for both mains.
Okay. But you did get, like you said, you did come to life in A3. You did pull off a 5th, and but it's still you ended up finishing 9th in it. But still, you beat Ryan Cavalieri. We can take a positive there. You beat Ryan Cavalieri. You beat 4-time world champion. 4-time
really kicking him while he's down.
Well,
I see you more now as working in the industry too. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You can still, like, I think that's where I see you going more in the industry as well. Not saying that your racing doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Of course it does. You still can do well and whatnot. But it just goes like that. Not every race is going to be a winner race. But it was for our good friend Ragin Aydin. Was you calm this weekend? That weekend too, Ragin? Like I said, you wasn't all excited in your interviews and all that good stuff.
Well, to be honest with you, I was just kind of pissed off all day on Sunday after like A1 of 2-wheel. I was not in a good mood like the rest of the day. Even after I won, I was like, I was kind of upset. So that kind of explains that, I'd say. I was honestly annoyed with like the fact that I even had to race A3 because I felt like I shouldn't have needed to race A3.
Yeah.
So it's like I was kind of, even after I won A2, it's like I wasn't really upset because I wasn't done and I felt like I should have been, you know? So it was like I was kind of annoyed the rest of the day, but through qualifying, I felt pretty normal, you know, pretty energetic. I just didn't get a lot of interviews because I only TQ'd 1 round. So I didn't really see much of me then. But yeah, no, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be straightforward. I was in a pretty bad mood on Sunday ever since that, I'd say.
No, but I mean, winning will change your mood. Was you in a better mood after winning?
Not really. Like I was kind of like, I was still kind of annoyed with it all, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
I'd say of all the races I've won, it's like typically I'm like so pumped after I get a win, but it's like I wasn't as pumped after that one because I don't know. And maybe it's because I also kind of like I needed a clutch A3 and I kind of blew out in A3. Like I didn't really do good in A3. I kind of got lucky that Dakota ended up blowing out as well. So it's like almost didn't even really feel like I kind of showed up when it really mattered, you know? So I don't know. Those two things combined, I was not really that excited, to be honest with you.
Hey, a win is a win, my good friend. Take them when you can.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's great we were able to get it done, but yeah.
All right. I got to show some love to the stock guys. Mason Templeman, he takes it in 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive. Good. I also see that he's going to be running at DNC Nitro cars. Take note, Matty G. Then we had Doug Leverrier, who I can say his name properly. He was second. Ian Crawford, the guy with the good hair. And then we had one of the dyads. Oh, the two dyads, Levi and Chase Raymond. They're in 4th and 5th, but this is their local track, correct? And then obviously Mason Templeman, Levi came second, Sammy Moran. Your dad, dude. Your dad came 4th overall.
Yeah, from 8th. He was getting up there.
Yeah. And then, of course, and Chase Raymond and Doug Leverrier, he'd be disappointed with that. He would want a better finish than 6th in 4-wheel drive. What happened to him in 4-wheel drive?
Wait. My dad beat Doug overall?
Yeah. Your dad beat Doug.
Oh, my God. No way.
Yes, he
know
did.
That.
Yeah.
I did not realize that. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
From what Doug had told me, he said his 4-wheel wasn't very good in qualifying, and he wholesaled it for his mains, and he said it was better, but he started, I think, 8th. So I think it was, either, especially on how tight the racing was, it was probably a little hard to get up there.
Yeah. Small track. But, and then your dad actually won what, they had the 40 plus too? So did he win that?
No, he got 3rd in that.
Who beat him?
BT.
He let BT beat him?
Either he's losing it or another FaceTime call.
Did he go?
Just popular man today.
Oh, well, we're almost done. This guy's got phone calls coming in. Tell them
Denali Nate. That was Denali Nate.
Oh, is he going to DNC?
No. I want him to so bad, but he said, yeah, you can have fun out there. Bring your snowmobile suit.
It is going to be cool. It's
always freezing out there.
When is the next INS race and where is it?
Adrenaline, right?
Okay.
I think it's at Adrenaline.
This guy's like JQ. I don't know. I just know I won. Are you ready for DNC, Aydin?
I mean, not even really close, honestly. I'm not coming home between DNC and Desert Classic. I'm just going from DNC to Desert. So I actually stayed a day late from the INS and rebuilt my 10 scale stuff. And I left my entire 10 scale program at Brent's house. Like, my cars are ready for Desert and they're just sitting in California. So that makes it easy to kind of show up and have it be there. But I honestly have gotten home and I rebuilt my e-buggy and I just have been looking at my nitro cars like, gonna have to get to these things eventually.
It's not far away. I mean, we're recording this. It's Monday.
Yeah, I know. I'll get them done. Don't you worry.
Who's gonna be a mechanic out there?
Me. You mean pit guy?
Yeah.
Probably Brent. If I had to guess. I mean, really, whoever is available in that moment most of the time. But I think Brent is going to be my pit guy the majority of the time. Last year, he had a broken foot, and I broke my truck in warm-up laps of the B main. He's like, we're warming the thing up. He's like, I got a good feeling about this one. I'm like, let's go, baby. Let's go. And then he sets the truck down. I do one jump. I land on power, and it snapped a rear out drive. And I was like, Brent, don't ever tell me you have a good feeling about a race again. And I was like, Brent, it's broke. It's broke. Go get it. And he had a broken foot. So he's like limping across the track to go get my truck to try to fix it.
You almost bumped too. Like you started the lap down and were, I think, third or something.
Dude, the truck was so dialed. I mean, I BQ'd. I was supposed to start first, and they didn't get the truck fixed in time. Yeah. So I started like 3/4 of a lap behind everybody.
But to almost bump, like, it was pretty dialed to watch.
I know. I wish I would have, because the truck was so good. And then Heckert was he was the guy that got the bump. And I mean, I had just as much pace as him in the B. Yeah. And he ended up getting like 4th in the A. I'm not saying I would have gotten 4th in the A. I'm just saying I mean, watching him is like I would have at least had a chance, you know.
Yeah. So you had the fastest truck on the track. Like your shit was pretty good.
It was so good, but it was unfortunate for sure to kind of. I feel like that was maybe a wasted opportunity. But I mean, a broken outdrive is not really something that you can plan for or avoid. It's really just something that just happens.
I heard it's not, but is Ongaro coming to DNC, or do you don't know? Did he froze? What's next for you, Born of Crime?
Desert Classic, and then I'll be at DNC walking around.
Yes, you need to come now see your mentor.
Yep.
Even though he might not speak to you because you're dead to him.
I did it one time. I was contracted to do it one time, and
he just
Angaro's not coming. That I heard that question when it was like
he's back.
My stuff bugged out, but
he's back.
He's not.
It's just a black screen, though.
Is it?
Yeah,
that is.
I can see myself on here.
I'm gonna bump you out, close it on, and come back. We'll be there.
What a joke!
Hey, you keep getting called. You got to put your phone on Do Not Disturb.
Popular today.
I guess
you're the guy.
Everybody wants Aydin Horne t-shirts.
I don't have t-shirts.
We'll just finish it like this. Then we'll just finish it like this. Black screen. AHRCCEO. So no Ongaro. Matty G is gonna come up, and he says he's gonna pit JQ.
I told Davey Vada I would put him in e-buggy. I told him to lean it out, and I've messed with his motor timing and all that stuff, but we'll see if
But he's running nitro too, right?
Yeah, he's running both.
But and then Joey's got all the new rules. Everybody's all upset about that. Oh, that's gonna be so much fun. I can't wait.
Well, I can't wait the most, right?
Oh yeah, it's definitely the Greg Degani rule and a JQ rule, because JQ wasn't her bragging about I'm going to run intermediate. Not now. Aydin's going. He'll be back. Yeah. All right, so Desert Classic. Are we going to see Europeans come over? Is this a warm up, or is it just like it's Desert Classic? So what is it like a pre-warm up?
Desert Classic, and then there is a one-up buggy challenge in I believe May or something like that they're doing the world. That'll be the world's like warm up.
Are we back?
Yep.
Yeah, we're back. Let's talk. Let's shift gears to worlds real quick, Aydin. It's September. It's coming up. First week of September, I think.
We're talking about hobby action.
Yeah, who are we looking at from Europe that concerns you?
As long as we're not talking about the Spain Worlds.
That was fun.
Nope. P65 is actually not fun.
it sucked. It was hot too, very hot. That part of it was very hot in Spain, and we had the wafting of the chemical plants. But I enjoyed Spain a lot and the race. Maybe not your position is what you enjoyed, but I think you enjoyed being at the Worlds.
The talent there was nice.
Right, but we're talking about the 10 scale Worlds that's coming up. At Hobby Action, anybody from Europe you think you're gonna have to worry about? I mean, there are some fast dirt races coming, but anybody in particular that worries you?
I mean, There's a handful of them. Yeah, I mean,
let's say some names.
I mean, Angaro is a beast.
Right.
He's proven multiple times that he can just pick up a radio with anything. And
I mean, he just killed all those guys in Montpellier this past weekend.
Dude, that driving,
killed them.
Dude. I mean, I'm not trying to ride him right now, but you gotta admit, he freaking laid the hammer on those guys.
I knew he won that race before he even finished his first lap. When he came off that polished, did you see the race at all, Matty?
Yeah.
So that polished concrete before that weird double jump, and he went, and then I was like, 1, 2, and then I saw a glimpse of boots. I was like, he's won this. Like, he's just he pulled away from them guys, and it wasn't even half of that.
That was some of the most incredible driving I've seen.
I like that track for that because it gives a lot of that sliding and a lot of that drifting, and that is where that guy excels. Like, at the Worlds, that double that went downhill after the straightaway, after you came up the straightaway, Aydin, and you jumped downhill, and if you missed it, you would just go right down to the bottom, like, because you was carrying so much momentum. Dude, he was able to just jump, land, and as soon as he landed, his car was like in a controlled drift around that thing.
Yeah.
So amazing. That was he really kicked this guy's asses. Ronald Falk too, I would say. How about some of these young guys, man? Like Karup, he was really fast at EOS. I want to see how he's going to do on that.
Yeah, I mean, Karup, the Tommy Hall is fast.
Yeah.
Yona, if he can make it, he'll be good. I don't know if he's going to come though. He's in the military right now. I don't know what the plan is with that. Ronald Falk, obviously. Bruno, obviously, is dialed all the time.
But this is a whole complete different surface for a lot of these guys. Like Tommy Hall and then guys, they haven't really raced on this type of surface. They will by this time.
Yeah, but I mean, the talent level that those guys have, I'm not sure it'll really matter much.
It'll be
is really good.
It'll all be open playing field with the tire stuff too.
What is the tire going to be? Has anybody heard what the any rumors floating around?
The rumor is it's going to be a clay, aka slick.
Yeah, I heard it was super soft long wear.
Really?
Okay. Yeah. Either way, I heard it's aka slicks.
Yeah.
Will they allow sourcing?
I don't know.
No. How are they going to police that?
I've never been to a World, so I don't know how they really do all that stuff. But from what I've been told, it's no sauce.
Yeah, because they don't allow it at Worlds. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see.
I think if enough people kind of push IFMAR to allow it, they might. But
I think they should control it and just do it like that instead of trying to stop people from doing it.
I know there's people trying to find like loopholes with tire cleaner. You can only clean the bead of a tire, so it's just kind of like.
But we ain't gonna have none of that sanding on tire stuff. Right?
No,
just
which will be nice. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Aydin, get your mind right for DNC. Get ready. Let's get right.
Yeah, I've been eating my carrots.
There you go.
Getting in a good mindset. Keep staying sharp. No, I don't know. I have no idea what to expect at DNC. I just want to go there and not look stupid, to be honest.
All right. Well, before you'll be all right. Before you end this, I wanted to talk to you real quick. Both of you are both young. Matty G, you're doing a lot of 10 scale stuff, and you see you get into a lot of 10 scale stuff this year. Aydin, you are hitting it like you're burning the candle at both ends. You're doing 8 scale, doing a lot of 10 scale. You've been doing it for like a year, almost 2 years now. Is the RC dream still like what you thought it was? And are you still enjoying it?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely turning into like a grind, I think. I mean, when you do something so much, it obviously becomes work. You can only find so much, like you can only be so excited about it for so long.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, every single race I go to, I still get excited before all the races. I still look forward to events, and I don't mind traveling. The travel days are fun as long as it's not a disaster. Yeah, I like practicing still. I'm still motivated to go to the track a bunch and wrench on my stuff. It's a little struggling to find motivation to rebuild these 8-scale cars for DNC right now, but
used to it.
That aside, but it's all part of it. It's definitely a grind, but it's so much fun. And honestly, Pops, Big Al, he's a construction guy, and my whole life it's like I've kind of come to work with him here and there, and I'd work summers with him in high school, like building decks and stuff. And that experience and like working construction, I worked in the construction shop my whole like summer after high school. Those experiences are what make me really appreciate the racing career for sure. Like I mean, just 2 days ago, my dad needed help on the job site, and I went and helped him, like set some posts and dig some holes, and even that was like, whew.
Yeah.
Man, I'm grateful for my RC stuff. So
it is like, it's crazy. It's such a small community. But it's it's a way. There are ways to make a living of it. Obviously, you're doing it as a racer. You're still a racer, Matty, but more. Like like I said, I see you more working in the industry and stuff as well. Sure. But it's wild. And I just wanted to ask because you've been hitting it hard, and I know, like I hit it hard last year too. When I got off my trip from South America, I was like, I don't want to see an airplane for like ever. But now I cannot wait to get out of her and get to DNC. I'm like, I'm kicking myself for not going out the weekend earlier. But it should be good. I get to see this guy. Aydin, I think I'm gonna give you I'm gonna come over and cheer you up because I think you can do it. Let's make the A-main this weekend. This DNC.
Dude, I almost had it in Truggy last year. I was half a lap away in Q3 from qualifying into the truck main. The tone sounded, and all I had to do was finish my lap, and I would have made the main. And I was squaring up that big rhythm section in the center, and my left rear wheel just barely caught the hole on the face of the jump, and it just shot hard left on the face of the jump, and I went flying into a hay bale. And I was like so pissed. And I ended up BQing. I missed it by like nothing, bro. And I was like, dude, I would have made the main. And I was like, so bad. I was so close. But we'll get it this year. We got it.
When do you get there? When you come into California?
I fly in Monday. But I'm gonna practice a day on Tuesday and then wrench a little bit while the seating schedule's going Wednesday and kind of get refreshed. And we got a schedule.
Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you for your time. Congratulations on the 2-wheel drive win. Was good for you. Should boost your confidence going into the Desert Classic. Or well, boost your confidence going into DNC, but definitely going to the Desert Classic. Matty G, thank you for your time. Yep. I guess we'll have you on after the Desert Classic. Yep. It's going to be a big event. We have some good coverage. The INS was good. I enjoyed the coverage by Matt Olson. Always does a good job. Mod. And I'm looking forward, man. I'm geeking out on 10 scale, and I'm looking forward to following. EOS was awesome. I would talk about it with you guys, but Max and I and Will Venomous geeked out on that for an hour and a half in the last podcast. But this is our JConcepts. It's the winter indoor series, right? It's called, or
so that was the winter round. So
right. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll be looking forward to, because they have a series on dirt and then they have a series on carpet, correct? Yeah. And you'll be doing all of them?
I'm not doing the carpet series. I'm doing the dirt series.
Okay. Sweet. Aydin, I'll see you next week.
Yep. I'll be there.
And thank you for your time, and good luck to you next week as well, Aydin.
Alrighty.
Oh, and did you want to promote AHRC real quick?
Yeah, I mean, it's not really much going on, but Aydin Horne RC, let's go, boys.
That's about all we're gonna get. You gotta, you know what? I think we gotta pump you back up. We gotta get back to you grabbing the mic from people and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, we'll get fired up.
I think you only like doing that when I'm around because you know.
No, I've taken Olsen's mic plenty of times. Yeah, I get in there.
All right. Well, thank you for your time. Get ready for DNC. Matty G, I'll see you next week.
Yep.
And you too.
We'll see ya.
Thanks for having us.
Bye-bye.
I love you.
Oh, shit. Oh, have you got special DNC underwear?
Just same lucky ones, man.
You know, I hope you have multiple of the lucky ones.
No, just
it's just one.
Well, realistically, I only wear that pair of underwear maybe 13, 14 times a year.
Okay. So
it only gets worn ever on main event day for like national scale events. So, I mean, realistically, that set of underwear is 2 years old now, and it's probably got less than 30 runs. You know, so
30 run wear.
30 run wear.
They're still breaking in my eyes.
Still breaking in? You're like the Nova Rossi of underwear there. Takes about like 2 gallons for to break a Nova Rossi engine in back in the day. All right, no more talk about underwear. All right, I'll talk to you later on. Have a good one. Thank you, guys.
We'll see you.
So that concludes our podcast for today. Thank you to Matty G and Ragin Aydin Horne for their time. It was great watching these guys race, and congratulations to Aydin on his victory in two-wheel drive. Good to see him get that. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed these 10 scale podcasts. Please forgive me as I'm still learning the new 10 scale lingua and all that stuff and learning everything. I know I sound like a fresh squid newbie, but I am geeking out on 10 scale. With that said, I think we're going to end this podcast. I want to say thank you to all of the NNRC squad around the world. Thank you for all the support, guys. We can't do it without you. If you can, please keep hitting that subscribe button, that notification button, hit that like or dislike button. Also, leave a comment. Sure, if you can. It greatly helps. We need to grow this YouTube, the NNRC YouTube. If you're listening to us on the audio platform, leave a comment. Leave a review. If you want to check out YouTube, check it out as well. Thank you to all of the patrons of the NNRC. You guys get early perks like early release of this podcast. You'll get to also be a part of patron only giveaways. So if you wish to be a patron member or an NNRC YouTube member, the links for this are in the written description of this podcast. Also, thank you to these awesome companies for their continued support. We can't do without them as well. And showing them some love, shows the podcast some love. We have affiliate links, coupon codes where you can save some money. For most of these, some of them we don't. But if you do, just say, hey, I heard about you on the NNRC. They are invisiblespeed.net, High Tech RC, Mayako, Sun Pedal USA, TNR Fuels, Techno RC, Beach RC, Clinic RC, Lugs Racing Tires, Ignite Design RC, RaceCraft USA, Call RC, RCGP, House of RC, Runabout Racing, JTP RC. Shout out to my good friend Robert Battier, 36 Mood, and our good friend, the Dr. Alexander HagBerg out there racing 10 scale. With that said, Nitro's the glory, E-Buggy pays the bills, and if you ain't grinding, you're sliding. Lefty is out. Bro.